Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So let me do a little intro about myself. My name is Rashini Ahmatullah and I'm studying relationships, communication and relationships. And this is going to be my first video of my relationship advice channel. So let's get started. So today's topic is going to be identity. I'm beginning with this topic on my relationship advice channel because how can you go about starting any relationship by keeping it healthy without fully knowing how much you provide to the relationship, which is a huge chunk. So let's get started with what is identity. The textbook definition of identity is the person we think we are and and communicate to others. I always thought identity was something I just hold to myself, but it's who we portray to the world as well. So there's around like 7 principles on how identity makes us who we are and how we perceive the world. But I'm going to go over the main points so you can get a gist of it, and you can start applying it to your life and your relationships. So this is one of my favorite ones, which is the looking glass self. This is a theory that really fascinated me. The looking glass self basically says that the feedback we receive from others shape our identities. So do you remember when our parents would, like when we were a kid, they would say, you gotta have the good friends, you probably shouldn't be friends with them because they're bad. Well, this is mainly because the way that others perceive us is the way that we start identifying ourselves with, if that makes any sense. So the more positive feedback we get from people, the more positively we'll start looking at us. So if you keep surrounding yourself with negative people and someone keeps saying that there's people walking past me, if you keep surrounding yourself with people that say that you suck at something, you're more likely to be trash at it. So the second principle is that the interpretation of feedback. Identities help us interpret feedback from others. It's like a cycle. Other people's feedback affects our identity, and our identities affect how we perceive others' feedback. For example, if you think you're really hot and you're like feeling yourself on a night out and you're going out and no one is checking you out, or someone comes up to you and they're like, oh, you look okay, you're most likely to think that people are jealous of you rather than maybe you just look okay that day. So this could be a positive and a negative thing. With the understanding of the cycle, now you know what you and how you perceive can affect you and your identity by a significant amount. Now let's apply this in relationships. There are a couple of ways that a relationship can affect who we are. And this is not just your partner. This could be someone you're hooking up with, your friend, someone you share any kind of connection with. Firstly, your identity expands. So when you first meet someone, your identity is like, this is the person and this is you. You're like 2 circles and you're just there, you're meeting, you're not merged at all. But slowly as you start getting to know each other, it slowly starts merging together and you start intertwining. So for example, if your partner really likes art, you're more likely to start looking into art and you're going to be like, oh, I'm really interested in art. So do you ever notice like when you start hanging out with someone new and like they use a slang term that you've never heard of before, but then the more you hang out with them, the more you start using it? Well, this is because you slowly start merging into the person you hang out with. And secondly, you start changing your identity. So maybe your partner introduces you to a new religion. Maybe he introduces you to a belief that you never had before. And then, so they slowly start influencing your behavior. So now this expansion and changing can be a good thing. So for example, if you're surrounded by someone that's really smart, they're automatically going to make you want to study more or do something more with your life. But this can go into a negative way too. So there's a thing called self-adulteration, which is when you start gaining the negative traits of a person you're with. For example, if your partner smokes or does a lot of drugs, you're very likely to try it out with them and start doing it with them. There's been a ton of research where women especially start getting into drugs because of their boyfriend. This is because we surround ourselves with people. When you surround yourself with people, they will slowly and start affecting us and our identity. So I hope this video was helpful and gave you a little insight of what this channel is going to be like. And the reason why I wanted to start off this channel with this topic in particular is because if you want to have a healthy relationship with someone, you've got to surround yourself with healthy people and people that are going to be good with, and not just surrounding yourself with those good people, but the person you're having a relationship should be good too, because like, what's the point of being in a relationship with someone if they're just gonna ruin you? So I hope you like this video, and comment down below if you liked it, and see you in my next video.